What does it mean to be? To think, to feel, to dream? Consciousness, the very essence of our experience, feels as familiar as the air we breathe, yet it is one of the greatest mysteries of existence. It's what allows us to perceive the world, to question our place in it, and to ponder the vastness of the universe. Without consciousness, there would be no science, no philosophy, no art, nothing but an endless void of unawareness. But what exactly is consciousness? Is it merely the byproduct of complex biological processes, or is it something more profound, something that transcends the physical? For centuries, humanity has sought answers to these questions. From ancient philosophers to modern neuroscientists, the quest to understand consciousness has captivated the brightest minds and sparked debates that stretch across time and culture. And yet, here we are, still grappling with the same elusive puzzle. When we look in the mirror, we recognize ourselves not just as physical bodies, but as thinking, feeling beings. We are aware of our thoughts, our emotions, and even our own awareness. This self-reflective quality sets us apart from all other known forms of life, and it hints at something extraordinary about what it means to be human. But is our consciousness unique, or is it part of something much greater, something universal? Imagine for a moment that consciousness is not confined to our brains. What if it is woven into the very fabric of reality itself? Could it be that the universe is alive with awareness, that every atom, every particle carries a flicker of consciousness within it? These ideas may sound far-fetched, but they challenge us to think beyond the limits of what we currently understand. And yet, for all its wonder and complexity, consciousness is paradoxically intangible. You cannot hold it in your hands or measure it with a ruler. It has no weight, no color, no physical presence. And still, it is the foundation of everything we experience. Every thought, every memory, every sensation we've ever known arises from this invisible phenomenon. Without it, reality as we know it would simply cease to exist. The enigma of consciousness lies not only in its nature, but in its origins. How did something as immaterial as awareness emerge from the physical processes of the brain? How does a collection of neurons firing electrical signals give rise to the rich tapestry of thoughts, emotions, and sensations that define our inner worlds? Scientists have made great strides in understanding the mechanics of the brain, yet the transition from biological function to subjective experience remains a profound mystery. And it's not just science that wrestles with these questions. Throughout history, countless cultures and traditions have sought to explain consciousness in their own unique ways. For some, it is the spark of the divine, a soul that exists beyond the confines of the body. For others, it is the essence of existence itself, an eternal flow that connects all living things. From the meditative philosophies of the East to the metaphysical musings of the West, humanity's attempts to understand consciousness reveal a universal yearning to uncover the truth of who and what we are. The more we try to grasp consciousness, the more it seems to slip through our fingers. It is like trying to describe the color blue to someone who has never seen it, or explaining the taste of chocolate to someone who has never eaten it. Consciousness is deeply personal and inherently subjective. No two people experience the world in exactly the same way, yet we all share this mysterious capacity to experience it at all. Think of your own consciousness. Right now, you are not just hearing these words, you are processing them, reflecting on them, perhaps even questioning them. Somewhere in the intricate dance of your neurons, an awareness is arising, a sense of you that is experiencing this moment. But what is this you? Is it merely the result of billions of years of evolution? Or is it something more profound, something that transcends the boundaries of time and space? These questions are not just philosophical musings, they strike at the heart of what it means to be alive. Consciousness is the lens through which we view the world, yet it is also the mirror that reflects our deepest fears, hopes, and dreams. It is the spark that ignites creativity, the foundation of empathy, and the essence of our individuality. Without it, there would be no stories, no history, no future. As we gaze into the night sky, marveling at the stars scattered across the vast expanse, we cannot help but wonder, are we alone in our awareness, or does consciousness permeate the cosmos? Could the universe itself be alive? A vast network of interconnected minds spread across the galaxies? These are questions that stretch the limits of imagination, yet they remind us of the profound mystery at the core of existence. Even in our everyday lives, the mystery of consciousness surrounds us. When we dream, we enter worlds as vivid and complex as the waking world, yet entirely constructed within our minds. When we meditate or lose ourselves in a moment of flow, we transcend the ordinary boundaries of self, experiencing a connection to something greater. These glimpses of altered states remind us that consciousness is not fixed. It is fluid, dynamic, and endlessly surprising. But perhaps the most extraordinary thing about consciousness is its ability to ask questions about itself. We are the universe contemplating its own existence, aware not only of the world around us, but also of our place within it. This self-awareness is both a gift and a burden, compelling us to seek meaning in a universe that often seems indifferent to our existence. And yet, it is this very quest for understanding that defines us as human. The search for answers, the desire to uncover the truth about consciousness, is not just an intellectual pursuit. It is a deeply personal journey. It is a journey that challenges us to confront the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, and to expand our understanding of what it means to be alive. As we continue to explore the mysteries of consciousness, we find ourselves standing at the edge of an infinite horizon where science, philosophy, and spirituality converge. Each step we take brings us closer to the truth, yet the journey itself is as important as the destination. For in seeking to understand consciousness, we are not only uncovering the secrets of the universe, we are also discovering the essence of ourselves. So as we embark on this exploration, let us keep our minds open and our curiosity alive. Let us embrace the mystery of consciousness, not as a problem to be solved, but as a wonder to be cherished. For in the end, it is consciousness that gives life its meaning, its beauty, and its depth. It is the thread that weaves us into the fabric of the universe, and it is the light that guides us as we seek to understand the infinite. Consciousness is often regarded as the final frontier of neuroscience, a puzzle so intricate and profound that it challenges our deepest assumptions about the brain, the mind, and the nature of reality itself. For centuries, philosophers have debated its origins, and now scientists are beginning to unlock its secrets, one neural pathway at a time. But what does neuroscience really tell us about consciousness? How do the billions of neurons in our brains work together to create the rich tapestry of thoughts, emotions, and sensations that make up our inner world? At its core, the study of consciousness within neuroscience seeks to answer one fundamental question. How does the brain, a physical organ composed of neurons and synapses, generate the subjective experience of being? This is what philosophers refer to as the hard problem of consciousness. While we can observe neural activity and map out brain functions with astonishing precision, the leap from these physical processes to the lived experience of self-awareness remains a profound mystery. Imagine the brain as a symphony orchestra, with billions of neurons acting as individual musicians. Each neuron plays its part, firing electrical signals and releasing chemical messengers in a complex interplay of activity. But what transforms this neural cacophony into the harmonious experience of consciousness? Neuroscience tells us that this transformation is rooted in the brain's remarkable ability to integrate information. The human brain is composed of approximately 86 billion neurons, each forming thousands of connections with its neighbors. These connections create intricate networks that allow the brain to process and combine sensory inputs, memories, emotions, and thoughts. This integration happens at lightning speed, enabling us to perceive, think, and act almost instantaneously. Scientists believe that this ability to integrate vast amounts of information across different regions of the brain is a key component of consciousness. One theory, known as integrated information theory, IIT, posits that consciousness arises from the brain's capacity to generate a high degree of integrated information. According to IIT, consciousness is not just a byproduct of neural activity, It is a fundamental property of systems that can combine and process information in specific ways. This idea suggests that the more interconnected and integrated a system is, the richer its conscious experience becomes. To understand consciousness, neuroscientists often look for its neural correlates, the specific patterns of brain activity associated with conscious experience. Advances in brain imaging technologies, such as functional MRI, fMRI, and electroencephalography, EEG, have allowed researchers to observe these patterns in unprecedented detail. One key area of interest is the cerebral cortex, the outer layer of the brain that is responsible for higher-order functions such as perception, reasoning, and decision-making. Within the cortex, certain regions appear to play particularly important roles in generating consciousness. For example, the prefrontal cortex is associated with self-awareness and executive functions, while the posterior parietal cortex is involved in integrating sensory information and creating a coherent sense of space and self. Another critical player in consciousness is the thalamus, a structure deep within the brain that acts as a relay station for sensory information. The thalamus not only processes incoming sensory inputs, but also helps coordinate activity across different parts of the brain. This coordination is essential for creating the unified experience of consciousness. Interestingly, studies have shown that consciousness is not localized to any single area of the brain. Instead, it emerges from the dynamic interactions between multiple regions. This distributed nature of consciousness highlights the complexity of the brain's inner workings and underscores the importance of understanding how different neural networks communicate with one another. In addition to studying specific brain regions, neuroscientists have also examined the role of brain waves in consciousness. Brain waves are rhythmic patterns of electrical activity that occur in different frequency bands, such as alpha, beta, theta, and gamma waves. Each type of brainwave is associated with different states of consciousness, from deep sleep to focused attention. Gamma waves, in particular, have been linked to conscious awareness. These high-frequency oscillations are thought to play a crucial role in synchronizing activity across different regions of the brain, allowing for the seamless integration of information. When we are fully awake and alert, gamma waves are often at their most active, suggesting that they may serve as the brain's conductor, orchestrating the symphony of consciousness. However, the relationship between brain waves and consciousness is still not fully understood. While gamma waves are often associated with conscious experience, they are not a definitive marker of it. For example, some studies have found that gamma activity persists even during unconscious states, such as deep anesthesia or coma. These findings highlight the complexity of the brain's mechanisms and remind us that consciousness cannot be reduced to a single variable. While much of neuroscience focuses on the conscious mind, it's important to remember that the majority of brain activity occurs below the level of conscious awareness. The unconscious mind plays a crucial role in shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and perceptions, often without us realizing it. For example, consider the phenomenon of blind sight, in which individuals who are blind due to damage to the primary visual cortex can still respond to visual stimuli. Even though they are not consciously aware of seeing, their brain processes the information at an unconscious level, allowing them to navigate obstacles or detect motion. This remarkable ability demonstrates that consciousness is not required for all forms of perception and action. Similarly, many of our everyday decisions and actions are influenced by unconscious processes. Studies have shown that the brain often makes decisions milliseconds before we become consciously aware of them, suggesting that our sense of free will may be more limited than we think. This interplay between the conscious and unconscious mind adds another layer of complexity to the study of consciousness and raises profound questions about the nature of agency and control. One of the most challenging aspects of studying consciousness is its subjective nature. Unlike other scientific phenomena, consciousness cannot be observed or measured directly. We cannot peer inside someone's mind and see their thoughts or feelings. We can only infer them based on behavior, self-report, or neural activity. This subjectivity makes consciousness uniquely difficult to study. While neuroscience can reveal the physical processes underlying consciousness, it cannot fully explain the richness of subjective experience, what philosophers call qualia. Qualia are the raw, individual sensations that make up our conscious experience, such as the taste of chocolate, the smell of rain, or the feeling of happiness. Why do certain neural patterns give rise to these specific sensations? Why does the activation of one set of neurons produce the experience of red, while another set produces the experience of blue? These questions remain unanswered, highlighting the limits of our current understanding and the need for new approaches to the study of consciousness. One promising avenue of research is the idea that consciousness is an emergent property of the brain. Emergence occurs when complex systems give rise to new properties that cannot be explained by their individual components. For example, the behavior of a flock of birds is an emergent property of the interactions between individual birds. Similarly, consciousness may emerge from the complex interactions between neurons, synapses, and networks within the brain. This perspective suggests that consciousness is not a single thing, but rather a dynamic process that arises from the interplay of multiple factors. As neuroscience continues to advance, our understanding of consciousness is likely to deepen in ways we can scarcely imagine. Cutting-edge technologies such as brain-computer interfaces and advanced imaging techniques are already beginning to reveal new insights into the brain's inner workings. These tools may one day allow us to map the full spectrum of conscious experience, bridging the gap between objective science and subjective awareness. At the same time, the study of consciousness reminds us that science is not just about answering questions, but also about embracing mystery. Consciousness challenges us to rethink our assumptions, to explore the boundaries of knowledge, and to confront the profound enigma of our own existence. In the end, the neuroscience of consciousness is not just about understanding the brain, it's about understanding what it means to be human. And in that quest, we are all participants in one of the greatest scientific adventures of all time. Consciousness stands at the intersection of science and philosophy, a phenomenon that challenges the limits of empirical inquiry and stretches the imagination of human thought. While neuroscience endeavors to uncover the mechanisms of consciousness, philosophy grapples with its essence, its origins, and its implications. For millennia, thinkers have wrestled with fundamental questions. What is consciousness? Is it purely a physical process, or does it transcend material existence? And perhaps most intriguingly, why does consciousness exist at all? The philosophical study of consciousness isn't merely an academic exercise. It strikes at the very heart of what it means to be human. It forces us to confront our assumptions about reality, the nature of the self, and the relationship between mind and matter. In this chapter, we delve into the philosophical dilemmas of consciousness, exploring the debates, paradoxes, and mysteries that have shaped our understanding of this enigmatic phenomenon. At the core of the philosophical study of consciousness lies the mind-body problem, the question of how the immaterial mind relates to the physical body. This issue has fascinated and perplexed thinkers for centuries, leading to a wide range of theories and perspectives. One of the earliest and most influential theories comes from René Descartes, the 17th century philosopher and mathematician who famously declared, "Cogito ergo sum," I think, therefore I am. Descartes proposed a dualistic view of reality, arguing that the mind and body are distinct substances. According to Cartesian dualism, the body operates in the realm of the physical, governed by the laws of nature, while the mind exists in the realm of the immaterial, as the seat of thought and consciousness. While dualism offers an intuitive explanation for the separation we often feel between our mental and physical selves, it raises significant challenges. How, for instance, can an immaterial mind influence a physical body? This interaction problem remains one of the central critiques of dualism, leaving philosophers divided on its validity. In contrast to dualism, materialism posits that consciousness arises entirely from physical processes. From this perspective, the mind is not a separate entity, but a byproduct of the brain's activity. Advances in neuroscience have lent support to materialism, demonstrating clear correlations between brain states and conscious experiences. Yet materialism too faces its own set of challenges, most notably the hard problem of consciousness. Coined by philosopher David Chalmers, the hard problem refers to the difficulty of explaining why and how physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective experience. While neuroscience can describe the mechanisms of perception, memory, and cognition, it struggles to explain the qualia, the raw, personal sensations that make up our inner lives. For example, consider the experience of seeing the color red. Neuroscience can identify the wavelengths of light that correspond to red, the activation of specific photoreceptors in the retina, and the neural pathways involved in processing color. But these objective descriptions fail to capture the essence of redness, the vivid, ineffable quality of seeing red that only you can know. This gap between objective explanation and subjective experience highlights the limits of materialism and suggests that consciousness may not be fully reducible to physical processes. Chalmers and other proponents of non-reductive theories argue that consciousness might be a fundamental aspect of reality, akin to space, time, and matter. One of the most intriguing philosophical theories of consciousness is panpsychism, the idea that consciousness is not unique to humans or even living beings, but is a fundamental property of the universe. According to this view, all matter possesses some degree of consciousness, from the simplest particles to the most complex organisms. Panpsychism challenges the traditional boundaries between the animate and inanimate, inviting us to see the universe as a continuum of awareness. While this idea may seem counterintuitive, it offers a potential solution to the hard problem of consciousness. By positing that consciousness is intrinsic to matter, panpsychism avoids the need to explain how it emerges from non-conscious material. Philosophers such as Alfred North Whitehead and contemporary thinkers like Galen Strawson have explored variations of panpsychism, suggesting that even the simplest entities, like electrons, may have rudimentary forms of experience. While these ideas remain speculative, they provoke profound questions about the nature of reality and our place within it. The philosophical dilemmas of consciousness extend beyond its nature to its implications, particularly for the concept of free will. If consciousness arises from physical processes in the brain, does that mean our thoughts and actions are determined by the laws of physics? Or is there room for genuine agency in a deterministic universe? Determinism, the idea that all events are causally determined by preceding conditions, poses a direct challenge to the notion of free will. If every decision we make can be traced back to neural activity and environmental influences, where does the self fit into the equation? Are we merely observers of our own actions, or do we have the power to shape our destinies? Some philosophers argue that free will is an illusion, a comforting narrative created by consciousness to make sense of our actions. Others contend that free will and determinism can coexist in a concept known as compatibilism. According to this view, free will is not about escaping causality, but about acting in accordance with our desires and intentions, even if those desires are shaped by external factors. The debate over free will remains deeply intertwined with our understanding of consciousness, challenging us to reconcile our subjective sense of autonomy with the constraints of the physical world. Another philosophical puzzle of consciousness is the nature of the self. Who or what are we really? Is the self an enduring entity that exists independently of our thoughts and experiences, or is it a construct created by the brain? Buddhist philosophy has long questioned the idea of a permanent self, suggesting that what we perceive as I is an illusion, a constantly shifting aggregation of thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. Neuroscience appears to support this view, showing that the brain continuously constructs and reconstructs the sense of self based on sensory input and memory. The philosopher Derek Parfit takes this idea further, arguing that personal identity is not a fixed essence, but a series of connected experiences. From this perspective, the self is less like a solid object and more like a river, dynamic, ever-changing, and ultimately inseparable from its environment. This view of the self has profound implications for how we understand consciousness. If the self is an illusion, what does that mean for our notions of individuality, morality, and existence itself? Philosophical explorations of consciousness also force us to question the nature of reality. Idealism, a philosophical perspective championed by thinkers like George Berkeley, posits that reality is fundamentally mental, composed not of matter, but of ideas. From this viewpoint, the physical world exists only insofar as it is perceived by a conscious observer. While idealism may seem at odds with our everyday experience, it resonates with certain interpretations of quantum mechanics, which suggest that observation plays a fundamental role in shaping reality. Could it be that consciousness is not just a part of the universe, but the very foundation upon which it rests? Ultimately, the philosophical dilemmas of consciousness remind us that some questions may lie beyond the reach of human comprehension. Our attempts to understand consciousness are limited by the very phenomenon we seek to study, creating a paradox that challenges the boundaries of knowledge. Yet this uncertainty is not a dead end. It is an invitation to explore, to question, and to wonder. The mystery of consciousness is not a problem to be solved, but a journey to be undertaken, a voyage into the deepest realms of existence and experience. As we grapple with the philosophical dimensions of consciousness, we are reminded that our understanding of reality is shaped by the very thing we seek to understand. In contemplating consciousness, we are not just studying the universe, we are participating in its unfolding mystery. And that, perhaps, is the greatest wonder of all. For centuries, the mind was assumed to be a product of the brain, confined within the skull's neural network. Neuroscience has reinforced this belief, mapping connections between cognitive processes and brain activity with increasing precision. Yet, despite its successes, this paradigm leaves one crucial question unanswered. Is consciousness strictly a phenomenon of the brain, or does it extend beyond its physical boundaries? The idea that consciousness might transcend the brain is as controversial as it is intriguing. It challenges the materialistic framework that dominates modern science and invites us to explore phenomena and perspectives that defy conventional explanations. In this chapter, we delve into the tantalizing notion of consciousness beyond the brain, examining scientific theories, mystical traditions, and groundbreaking experiments that suggest our inner world may not be confined to our biology. One of the most provocative theories about consciousness is the receiver hypothesis. This idea suggests that the brain functions not as the generator of consciousness, but as a receiver or filter of a broader field of awareness. Proponents of this theory liken the brain to a radio, which tunes into specific frequencies of consciousness, but does not produce the signal itself. This perspective offers a radically different way of understanding the relationship between the brain and mind. Rather than being the sole origin of consciousness, the brain could be a medium that shapes and channels a universal consciousness into the individual experience. Support for the receiver hypothesis comes from several lines of inquiry, including near-death experiences, NDEs. During an NDE, individuals often report vivid, coherent experiences even when their brain activity is severely diminished or entirely absent. How can consciousness persist without a functioning brain? Some researchers argue that these experiences point to a form of awareness that exists independently of neural processes. While mainstream science remains skeptical, the receiver hypothesis opens up exciting possibilities for understanding consciousness as a phenomenon that extends beyond the confines of biology. Another frontier in the exploration of consciousness beyond the brain lies in quantum mechanics. The quantum mind hypothesis proposes that consciousness arises not solely from classical neural activity, but also from quantum processes occurring at the subatomic level. Physicists like Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff have advanced the theory of orchestrated objective reduction, OR, which suggests that consciousness emerges from quantum vibrations within the microtubules of brain cells. These microtubules, tiny structures within neurons, may act as quantum computers, processing information in ways that transcend classical physics. What makes this hypothesis particularly fascinating is its potential to bridge the gap between brain-based and universal consciousness. Quantum mechanics operates in a realm where particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously and where entanglement allows instantaneous connections across vast distances. Could these phenomena provide a framework for understanding how consciousness might exist as both a localized and non-localized phenomenon? Although the quantum mind hypothesis remains speculative, it challenges us to think beyond traditional neuroscience and consider consciousness as a fundamental aspect of the universe itself. The idea of consciousness extending beyond the individual has long been a cornerstone of mystical and spiritual traditions. Many cultures and belief systems describe a form of collective consciousness, a shared field of awareness that connects all living beings. This concept is echoed in modern psychology through Carl Jung's idea of the collective unconscious, a reservoir of archetypes and experiences that transcends individual minds. Contemporary research into the extended mind hypothesis builds on these ideas by exploring how consciousness interacts with the external world. Cognitive scientists like Rupert Sheldrake propose that the mind is not confined to the brain, but extends into the environment, forming feedback loops with the physical and social world. One striking example of this hypothesis is the phenomenon of morphic resonance, which suggests that patterns of behavior, thought, and development can be transmitted across individuals and species through a shared field. While controversial, this idea aligns with the notion that consciousness may operate on a level that transcends individual biology. The extended mind hypothesis also finds support in the study of group dynamics. Phenomena like collective decision-making, mob behavior, and the hive mind effect in social animals suggest that consciousness can emerge on a larger scale, encompassing not just individuals but entire groups. If consciousness extends beyond the human brain, could it exist in non-human systems? This question challenges us to redefine the boundaries of awareness and consider whether consciousness might arise in forms we have yet to recognize. One area of interest is artificial intelligence, AI. As AI systems become increasingly sophisticated, they exhibit behaviors that mimic human cognition, such as problem-solving, learning, and decision-making. Could these systems one day achieve a form of consciousness? And if so, would their consciousness be fundamentally different from our own, or would it share common principles? Another fascinating possibility is the idea of consciousness in non-living systems. Panpsychism, discussed in the previous chapter, posits that all matter possesses some degree of consciousness. From this perspective, even seemingly inert objects like rocks or stars could have rudimentary forms of awareness. While these ideas may seem far-fetched, they invite us to expand our understanding of consciousness and explore its potential manifestations across the natural world and beyond. If consciousness is not confined to the brain, the implications are profound. It would challenge the materialist paradigm that underpins much of modern science and open the door to a more holistic understanding of reality. For example, the idea of non-local consciousness could provide a framework for understanding phenomena like telepathy, precognition, and out-of-body experiences, which have long been dismissed as pseudoscience. It could also reshape our understanding of life and death, suggesting that consciousness might persist in some form after the physical body ceases to function. Moreover, a non-local view of consciousness aligns with ancient spiritual teachings that describe the interconnectedness of all things. From the Vedic concept of Brahman to the Taoist notion of the Tao, these traditions have long recognized consciousness as a universal principle that transcends individual existence. The exploration of consciousness beyond the brain represents a convergence of science and mysticism, two domains often seen as opposites. While science seeks to understand consciousness through observation and experimentation, mysticism approaches it as a direct experience of unity with the cosmos. This convergence challenges the traditional boundaries between disciplines and invites us to embrace a more integrative approach to understanding consciousness. By combining the rigor of science with the insights of philosophy, spirituality, and art, we can begin to paint a more complete picture of this profound mystery. Ultimately, the study of consciousness beyond the brain is not just about solving a scientific puzzle. It is about expanding the horizons of human understanding. It challenges us to question our assumptions, explore new possibilities, and confront the profound mystery of existence. As we venture into this uncharted territory, we are reminded that consciousness is not just a phenomenon to be studied. It is the very lens through which we perceive the universe. To explore its depths is to embark on a journey of self-discovery, one that has the power to transform our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. This chapter is not the final word on consciousness beyond the brain, but an invitation to wonder. What lies beyond the limits of our current understanding? What mysteries await in the infinite expanse of awareness? These are questions that will continue to inspire and challenge us, drawing us ever closer to the heart of the greatest enigma we have ever known. Consciousness is the most intimate and mysterious aspect of our existence, weaving together the threads of our perceptions, thoughts, and emotions to create the vibrant tapestry of our inner lives. It is the lens through which we experience reality, the spark that animates our being, and the profound enigma that connects us to the universe itself. Over the course of this journey, we've uncovered the fascinating layers of this phenomenon, its biological roots, its philosophical challenges, and its potential to transcend the physical boundaries of the brain. Yet even as we delve into these questions, the essence of consciousness remains elusive, inviting further exploration and deeper reflection. What makes consciousness so compelling is not just its complexity, but its universality. Every one of us carries this profound mystery within, living each moment through the lens of awareness. And while the answers may be out of reach, the act of questioning, of striving to understand, is itself a testament to the unique capacity of the human mind. In exploring consciousness, we are not just seeking knowledge about the universe. We are also discovering the nature of our own existence. Perhaps the greatest power of consciousness lies in its ability to inspire awe. As we gaze at the night sky, marvel at the beauty of nature, or lose ourselves in the depths of a thought, we are reminded of the profound gift of being aware. Consciousness allows us to reflect, to dream, to create, to imagine worlds that do not yet exist, and to connect with the world as it is. But consciousness also reminds us of our limitations. It shows us that there is more to reality than what we can perceive, that the universe operates on levels far beyond our understanding. And in this, it teaches us humility. The mystery of consciousness humbles us, grounding us in the realization that we are but a part of something vast and incomprehensible. This humility, however, is not a cause for despair. Instead, it is an invitation, a call to embrace the unknown, to celebrate the journey of discovery, and to remain open to new ideas and perspectives. In the end, the mystery of consciousness is not a problem to be solved, but a wonder to be embraced, a source of endless curiosity and inspiration. As we conclude this exploration, we are left with more questions than answers, and that is precisely the point. Consciousness, in all its depth and complexity, is not something that can be fully understood or defined. It is a dynamic, ever-changing phenomenon that evolves with our understanding of ourselves and the universe. Yet, even in the absence of definitive answers, this journey has taught us some valuable lessons. 1. The interconnectedness of all things. Whether through the intricate networks of the brain, the resonance of collective consciousness, or the possibility of universal awareness, consciousness reminds us that we are deeply connected to each other and to the cosmos. 2. The value of curiosity. The pursuit of understanding consciousness is a testament to the human spirit. a celebration of our capacity to question, to seek, and to imagine. It is a reminder that the act of exploration is as important as the destination. 3. The richness of the subjective experience. In a world that often prioritizes the measurable and the material, consciousness reminds us of the importance of the subjective, the personal, and the intangible. It is a call to honor the richness of our inner lives and to recognize the beauty of the unseen. 4. The possibility of the unknown. Whether through the mysteries of the quantum mind, the concept of non-local consciousness, or the idea of life beyond the physical, consciousness invites us to expand our horizons and to consider possibilities that challenge the boundaries of our understanding. As we stand at the threshold of what is known and unknown, consciousness invites us to turn inward, to reflect on our own experiences, our own thoughts, and our own being. It is a deeply personal journey, one that each of us must undertake in our own way. Consider for a moment the miracle of your own awareness. The way your mind processes information, creates meaning, and connects you to the world around you. Think about the moments of clarity and insight, the dreams that inspire you, and the emotions that move you. All of these are expressions of consciousness, the profound force that animates your life. In contemplating consciousness, we are not just exploring a scientific or philosophical concept. We are engaging with the very essence of what it means to be alive. And in doing so, we are reminded of the beauty, the wonder, and the fragility of existence. Before we close, I invite you to reflect on your own experiences of consciousness. What does it mean to you? How does it shape your perception of the world, your relationships, and your sense of self? These are not questions with easy answers, but they are worth pondering. And as you think about these questions, consider sharing your thoughts with others. Consciousness is a deeply personal phenomenon, but it is also a shared one, a thread that connects us all. By discussing and reflecting on our experiences, we can deepen our understanding and appreciation of this profound mystery. If this exploration has sparked your curiosity, we would love for you to join us on this journey of discovery. There is so much more to uncover, so many more questions to ask, and so many more mysteries to explore. Together, we can delve deeper into the wonders of existence and continue to celebrate the beauty of the unknown. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Storyteller Panda. Your support helps us create more content like this and keeps the conversation going. And of course, we want to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What are your perspectives on consciousness? What questions do you find most intriguing? Let's keep the dialogue alive and thriving. In the end, the mystery of consciousness is not something to be solved or conquered. It is something to be embraced. It is a reminder of the infinite complexity of the universe and the profound depth of our own existence. As we continue to explore this enigma, let us approach it with curiosity, humility, and wonder, recognizing that the journey is as meaningful as the destination. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of consciousness. Until next time, keep questioning, keep wondering, and keep celebrating the extraordinary gift of awareness. See you in the next video.